Welcome back to the Natural Resilience Podcast. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Rory King. Rory is the founder of Rory's Travel Club, which is now hitting 200,000 customers. And today, we're going to find out the man behind the brand. Rory, thank you.
Yeah, no, great to be here, Ciaran. And I know we're just talking off air. I was saying how well you're doing inspiring people and connecting people in Northern Ireland. So massive thank you for some of the introductions you've done for me and for those listening.
Yeah, and it's been great. Our paths have crossed several times.
Yep.
And I've had, I suppose, a bit of an insight. Really, really excited to hear more. And we're going to talk loads about Rory's Travel Club because it's one of my favourite businesses. I love the concept. It's the perfect win-win business. And we're going to really, really get into the nuts and bolts of that. But I would love to know more about Rory. Who is Rory behind Rory's Travel Club?
Yeah, I suppose a lot of people maybe aren't as comfortable talking about themselves, but I'll give you a quick rundown. So basically born in Downpatrick, County Down. Growing up, all I cared about was football. I was very fortunate. I played underage Gaelic for County Down. I played soccer for Glentoran.
Wow.
So I was going between the two. I was up in Belfast. I could have been in Newry. And often they were on the same nights and I had to pick. But for the sake of about 4 or 5 years, I juggled both of them. I always wanted to potentially pursue something in sport. A few injuries, probably similar to so many people listening. It happens. I then decided the next best thing for a young lad, which a lot of young lads in the sport want to do, was be a PE teacher. Seemed like a cool option. Seemed like a viable option. So went to university in England at 18. Studied sports science. And every summer I went travelling. So obviously clinging on to the idea of being a teacher, I volunteered in Fiji whenever I was 18 in a primary school, which probably changed my life forever, to be honest. It opened the world up to me. I seen a different perspective and I seen how big the world is and how amazing the people are in different countries, whereas before I was kind of confined a lot to Ireland. I'd only left the country maybe twice before then. I will mention the company. I have no affiliation. I used a company called Think Pacific, who are still going, and they take students from Ireland and the UK out to Fiji to volunteer. And yeah, amazing work they're doing out there. So yeah, went out there, really loved it. Second year after university, I was working in Asda when I was in school and while I was in university, and I would have saved up as much as I could. I would have worked every hour in the day, so if I could have started at 6 and stopped at 10 o'clock, they'd be telling me to go home, the shop's closed, and I'd be trying to do the night shifts. I would have done every hour possible to try and save money to allow me to travel. So every summer I would have went travelling. It would have took maybe 4 or 5, 6 weeks off. One of the summers, actually, I wanted to go to Dubai. For whatever reason, Dubai was the place I really wanted to visit that summer. But the flights were like 600 or 700 quid, and I didn't have that much money to kind of justify it. But what I had was time, because I was a student. I was off, and what I actually did that summer was I went to 6 or 7 countries, and the flights all in to visit all of them was less than what it would be for a direct return flight to Dubai. So I know I flew to Edinburgh, and then I went to Gdansk, Rome, Hungary. You're kind of heading over that part of the world. I went to Budapest, Dubai, and I stopped in Sofia on the way back. Probably the worst place. Maybe it's improved now. This was 10 years ago. Probably the worst city I've ever been to. But what an amazing experience. And probably that knack of traveling. Whenever I finished university, I decided that I wanted to travel. So instead of going and doing a PGCE, which many people do, which is a year to qualify as a teacher, I applied for 3 jobs. One was being a language assistant in Barcelona, kind of clinging on to that teacher angle. One was doing stocks in Kuala Lumpur, and one was selling alcohol. And you can probably guess which one I went for. So essentially what actually happened, and that decision was made easy for me, because the one in Barcelona, they decided that they could only send me to Andorra, which I had no interest in. The stocks, the money seemed great, but it's one of them things I seen online and applied, and they were like, we'll fly you out to Kuala Lumpur tomorrow, and there was no contract or anything, and I was like, yeah, dodgy. Avoid that. And thankfully, I got an opportunity with a family-owned Irish alcohol brand, and for 4.5 years, they trusted me to travel around the world promoting their brand. It was a dream job for someone that wanted to travel, and I was so proud to represent them that I wanted to repay them. And even now, even in my own business, anything I can do to help them, I will. And there's no cost because they've opened the world up to me effectively.
Are you happy enough to say what the brand is?
Absolutely. It's called Cool Swan. It's like a white chocolate premium version of Bailey's as such.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful stuff. Especially at Christmas time, I'm sure there's a bottle of Bailey's floating around. So worth looking into, and you'll get it most likely in most super values, Tesco's. It's a big white bottle.
I'll have to check it out this year.
Yeah, it's delicious.
As you're speaking about traveling, your face lights up.
Yeah.
Like you can hear the passion coming out of your voice when you start rhyming the cities, the countries, the cultural experiences. Taking you back to Fiji, did you put a post up in the last few months about a Fijian lady? Is that from the first ever time? And
Yep.
if so, could you maybe give us a bit on her?
It's the same lady. So I volunteered at 18, and this was the lady that was my my host as such. So I lived with her for, I think it was either 6 or 7 weeks whenever I first went, and that was with a group. So there was 30 of us. I was actually the only person from the island of Ireland. Most people were actually from the UK, and there was one girl actually from New Zealand on that trip. But this lady Tema was my host mother as such, and the house we lived in, it was more like what we would classify as a shed here in Ireland. And I lived there for 7 weeks. Really, she cooked for me, did my wash, did everything and more. And I loved Fiji that much. I've now been 5 times to that island. This island, there's no shop, there's no internet. You're 15 hours off the mainland, and it's the happiest place probably I've ever been. And this lady, I keep returning to her house, and she's forever looking after me. And one thing, probably the most humbling things ever happened in my life, actually, was in that lady's house. And I've been fortunate. I've lived in New York City, I've lived in Canada, I've lived in Australia, I've lived in New Zealand, in places that are worth, well, not they're worth, but I'm not. I was paying rent, and sometimes I was sharing a room. But I was living in some really nice areas of the world that were quite affluent for my work. But it was living in that basically shed on an island in Fiji where I've probably seen the most heartwarming thing, which was I was over there. I was going to spend 6 months on the island, and I was probably about 23, 24. And one night I was sleeping, so it's like a 1-bed house, and I just assumed that I was going to bed and they were going like down the road and into someone else's house, or they were being put up. But one night I woke up and needed to go to the toilet, and I was only say 24. This lady was in her 50s, and she was laying sleeping on the floor. And I swear it broke my heart in terms of, I said to her, I was like, never again, like I'll sleep on the floor, you sleep there. And she wouldn't let me, and there was no talking her out of it. She said she was okay, and I just had to let her be. So I think to just like probably a lesson on humanity in terms of, like, you could go anywhere, and money's great and money's this, but it's real people in real places, and some of these kind acts mean more than money will ever mean.
Totally. I love the passion that's coming out, and I can only imagine that there was some form of conversation with somebody or with yourself with regards to how do you turn this passion into a project, into a business. I mean, talk us through that initial stage of, I love traveling.
Yep.
I've changed my life because of traveling, and I now want to provide that experience for other people.
Yeah, so essentially I had an idea. I probably sat on it for maybe 3 or 4 years. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I worked for a French company that basically, my job was to sign up hotels to their platform. And basically, if people here on the island of Ireland book a hotel, even in Ireland, they take 30% commission. And I was sitting there every day ringing these hotels saying, surely there's a way people like myself or Irish people or local people can save 30%, because that's a considerable chunk. But I didn't do anything about it. Like, I'll give you a quick example. So the Europa hotels around the corner, say it's 200 quid tonight. If these guys are taking 30 quid, the hotel's only making 140. So my idea, even back then, never planned on being a businessman. I was just sitting at the desk scratching my head going, surely there's a way that local people like myself could pay 140. The hotels happy enough because they're making the same amount of money, and the local people, that's me, my cousin, my mum, my dad, whoever it is, are saving that 60 quid, which is going inevitably to France. So that was my idea, which I sat on for about 3 years. I lived in the States in 2019. I was living in New York City, and I signed up to a thing called Jack's Flight Club, which is they have a bit of a footfall here in Ireland, but they're massive in America. And what they do essentially is you pay a subscription to them. It's like $40, as far as I know, a year. It may have changed. And what they do is they scour the internet for the cheapest flights. So if there's a flight leaving Dublin going to Australia, for example, and it's usually 1,200 quid, and they see it at 800, they'll send you an email. So essentially, they're basically doing the donkey work, and they're informing you of whenever there's a really good price on travel. But so I seen that, and I thought like it's a great bit, an absolutely amazing business actually. But I thought, you know what, if I could do something similar in the hotel space where people pay me a small amount, and even if they book just one night in a hotel, they're going to save much more than what they pay me, and we all win together. So everything we do, I like to do things that are a no-brainer, and I was very fortunate that I come up with this. At the start, a lot of people said I was nuts, I was too cheap, I was never going to make money, I was never going to get customers. But essentially, I put the word out there. I started a Facebook page. I was sharing a room with 3 other people in New York City because I couldn't afford my own room. I was in a place called Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn. And one Sunday, hungover, set up a Facebook page called Rory's Staycations, and I was like, right, I'm gonna save all these people back home money. This is gonna be brilliant. And set up the page. Obviously, you get your friends and family. You have maybe 100 followers, and then you're like, shit, what am I doing? But what I was doing was I was contacting hotels and saying, look, I know if the booking's 200 on a certain site, you're getting 140. Anyway, you can give me that discount and I'll promote it to our 100 followers. And they were like, absolutely not.
So this is what I wanted to ask, right? So some of the biggest hotels in Ireland, some of the biggest travel places in the world are now working with you.
Yep.
But the condition of entry, those first ones where you're hungover with the Facebook group,
Yeah.
I mean, how did those conversations go?
Yeah, I was like, brilliant. I'm going to ring Hastings and they're going to love this idea and they're going to work with me, which was, I was so deluded. It was never going to happen. And obviously these are brands that have been built over 20, 30, 40, 50 years, sometimes even more. What I had to do essentially was, and the thing was, I did it for free for the first year and a half. So I was just testing the waters. But what I was doing was I basically was getting, even if Jimmy's Hotel in the back arse of Larne that was 2-star and had 4 rooms, give me 50 quid off a week's stay. At least the people on my Facebook, if someone wants to go there, they're saving 50 quid. So any discount at that stage was a good discount. And we kind of had to probably fake it till you make it in a way. Like we did have a couple of really good hotels came on board maybe about 3 months in. I remember my first 4-star hotel was the Diamond Coast Hotel in Enniscrone in Sligo, which is a beautiful family hotel that we're forever grateful that the GM seen a bit of potential in us and give us an opportunity. But truth be told, see hotels that were maybe slightly interested, I would be ringing hotels saying, sure, they're thinking of signing up. That's your competitor. If you sign up before them, and we kind of had to sometimes play the hotels off each other. Obviously now we don't have to do that. We have a platform that hotels, and the great thing about what we do is it's free, so we don't charge any of our partners. There's no fees, no commission. We introduced a €10 a year fee, which now is €12 because we went over the VAT threshold. But we introduced €10 a year, and that came about a year and a half in. I put a Facebook status up saying I'm still working full time. I want to go full time at this, thinking of charging €10. What do you think? Am I losing my marbles here? Is this a good idea? And there was about 40 people commented being like, brilliant, Roy, I've already saved money. I'd pay you €10. That's no bother. So basically I quit my job for €400. And people say, how'd you get your first customer? I got 40 in one go, but that took me a year and a half to get. And thankfully, we've just built and built and built. Looking back on it, maybe I was nuts getting going, but I'm glad. And I think like anything, to get to this level, it was 12 hours a day, every day and more for 3, 4, 5 years.
I think there's a massive lesson there for people listening that you got your first 40 customers at once, but it took a year and a half of grind to get that. And even the fact that you did it for free. And for me, this is a thing where social media portrays that business is easier, getting the brand off the ground is easy.
Yep.
You put a couple of Instagram posts up and that's it, done, but it's anything but. And
Yep.
it does require hard work as a condition of entry almost, I believe.
Absolutely. And yeah, as you say, I think over the space of that year, people trusted me and people knew I had their best interest. And I still have, like, I want our customers to win more than I want to win myself.
Yeah.
So I know I hear people say that kind of money's a byproduct of good work and good service. And I do believe that. Whereas obviously as a business, you want to make money, but inevitably I just get so excited about getting really, really good deals, and we negotiate really, really hard on behalf of our customers. Obviously, now we've I know exactly, we've between 247 and 250,000 customers right now, and that's constantly going up. But we're in a very, very lucky position now and we've worked very hard to get here. We're basically the more customers we get, the better offers we can negotiate, which will get us more customers, which will get us better offers. So the stuff that we did a year ago that people thought was good, hopefully now 12 months later it's even better. And even sitting here today, I know probably this podcast may have went out after, but we have an offer with Ashford Castle, or with the lodges at Ashford, including afternoon tea at Ashford Castle, one of the top 3 hotels in Ireland. So from really struggling to get any hotels on board to now working with the creme de la creme, like it's been some journey.
And I've watched your journey with, from those early days. I remember when you and I'm a customer myself. When I dissect your business, I immediately think of Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And what he talks about within that is creating win-win scenarios in business. Whether you're negotiating or whether you're doing business, if you can create win-win, everyone's happy. It creates an energy. It's like almost like that rise and tide analogy. Like the hotels are winning because you're filling their rooms.
Yep.
Like I've seen where you're like sold out off the back of one email.
Yep.
Hospitality, it's well documented how tough the last few years have been. I mean, give the listeners an insight into that win-win scenario of how everyone is benefiting off the back of your business.
Yeah, a simple example. I'll not name the hotel, but we just put an offer out with them last night, and we did the exact same offer this time last year, and they did 150 grand off the back of one email we sent, which is massive. And this time of the year, obviously hotels, of course, have their overheads. They have, of course, staff, lighting, like our lighting, heating, all of the above. And essentially, we don't charge hotels. And what we are looking for is the best. We're looking we're looking obviously to get the best price for our customers, but we're looking to also get them what they're happy with. And obviously, there's so many ways they can upsell. So, and the thing is, with hotels, it's a perishable good. If it's not sold, I don't know, perishable good. I don't know where that phrase came from. It's I use these big words. What the hell happened this morning? But it's basically if the room isn't sold, it lies empty. And if a hotel room's 150 quid and it lies empty, they get nothing. Whereas if I can bring them 100 quid or 80 quid, at least they're getting something. And they have another customer that may well buy a coffee or a dinner or a pint or whatever. So,
well, I know a lot of people's mindsets go like this, and this is any time I book through you, you're saving £80 going through Rory's Travel Club to get a really nice hotel somewhere. That £80 generally spent on food and drinks.
Yep.
Like if you're saving the money, you're thinking, well, happy days, let's stay in the hotel and have a nice meal.
Yep,
like
exactly.
It is the ultimate win-win, and I think, right, let's get the kids minded. Like we've got a great discount here. Let's go and make the most of a really nice hotel we've never been to before.
And that's it. And what we're doing as well is we're speaking to not just hotels. We're working with Irish Ferries, Stena Line. We're doing Disneyland Paris, Legoland. We're doing international bucket list trips. But what we're doing is we're speaking to these companies, and a lot of them, of course, they're full 60, 70, 80% of the year, which is brilliant. But there's times of the year and there's weeks and dates that they're struggling, and we're there to help. Mm-hmm. So we're basically offloading that stock, whether it's a bedroom or whether it's a hotel room, a bedroom, or whether it's a seat on a flight or a cabin on a cruise. We're speaking to them and saying, look, we know that you're busy, and we know you're at 80-90% occupancy a lot of the time. But if you've any dates or any weeks where you're sitting at 70%, let give us a good offer. And the great thing about what we do, compared to, of course, there's been these daily deal sites in the past. The great thing about what we do is we don't charge them to advertise, one, which these guys didn't either, but we don't charge a commission on every booking, and the booking is direct with them, so they're in full control, which is a lot more advantageous to them than going through a third party that obviously deals with data and then has to pass it on. So yeah, I think it sounds very simple, but there's a lot of negotiating in the back end. We're speaking to, for example, we could be speaking to MSC Cruises, and they could have World Europa as their new ship, and they could have 100 cabins free this week, 200 free the next week, 120 the following week. And we're saying, see, that week you have 200 cabins free. What about giving us 60 of them at 30% off? And they'll probably say no. And then we go back and say, what about 25? And we meet in the middle. So we're constantly doing this. And some of the savings, we did a trip with a travel department who are really well known for group travel. And basically it was a trip to Sorrento in Italy. And they're selling it for, depending on the time of year, we basically did it for May, June, July and August. And they're selling it for anywhere between 1,400 and 1,600 euro per person. And we had it for 999, all their available seats. So they had 185 seats left across all the dates, and we got them for 999. So some of the couples that went on that saved 1,200 euro, which they pay us 12 quid and they've saved 1,200. And they're going somewhere that if they didn't read our email, they may never have got to Sorrento or even thought about it. So we're also inspiring them as well as potentially saving people money.
I'm interrupting this podcast briefly to make you aware of a very special event happening on Sunday, the 18th of January, 2026. The Hero's Journey is a self-development event with a difference. It takes place in the Europa Hotel. It's going to help you unlock your inner compass and create the map so that 2026 becomes your best year to date. We have some massive guests that are going to be announced very soon, as well as a live podcast thrown in for good measure. So tickets are live on Eventbrite or through the website, and we would love to see you there. I have two questions. We'll go on to the more bespoke events, because there is like skiing trips and like these, you know, Disneyland Paris and
Yep.
real like experiential holidays people can go on to. Is there currently, or could there ever be a time where victim of its own success is a wrong expression, where you'd mentioned Jimmy's Hotel, like a 2-star hotel in Larne? Does there become a point where quality control comes into it and you're like, okay, we now only want to work with like 4-star and above, or we want to improve our quality of offering?
Big time. And the ones in the office that are working on sales and speaking to hotels, they're at me the whole time, because we only want to put the best of the best in the email. We want to add as much value and we want to excite our customers. And the thing is, obviously, a good hotel is subjective and a good price is subjective. I think I have a good understanding of the market. But yeah, I suppose now, obviously, if we've got a 5-star spa hotel that giving us 130 quid, we did have actually last week 5-star Druids Glen in Wicklow. We're doing bed and breakfast and a bottle of Prosecco for £130.
Wow.
So we had that, and we did, yeah, I'd say we probably did 50, 60, 70 grand. I don't know the figures, but usually we'll be in and around. But if we have that up against a hotel that's 3-star, that's offering with no leisure facilities, that's charging 160, even though they may well be 200 normally, and there's a good discount. It's very hard to compete. It's very hard to get them into the email, because we only want to be putting the best of the best. And there's a lot of offers don't make our email, which I think it sticks true to our values, where we want to work on behalf of our customers, get them the best value, and we don't want to be putting information in front of people we don't think that they'll have interest in. So. And even now, like, we see that a lot of maybe families, especially, aren't thinking of going away for the next 6 months. So we started adding attractions, and some of them, like for example, we have here in Belfast. I don't know if you've been, by the way. I really want to go. Prison Island.
Not yet.
We have 20% off there. We're going actually as a team day for our team at Rory's Travel Club. But stuff like that, where people maybe that aren't in a position to go to a hotel or go go on a family holiday, that maybe they can bring the kids out for the day. It's £100 instead of 140, and they still save more than the €12 or £10 they pay us. So we're constantly looking at adding as much value as possible. But coming back to your question about stuff that potentially, and these 3 and 4 star hotels, it just comes down to price. Like we have a I think it's 3-star hotel in Mayo, and we do 2 nights with them for €100 bed and breakfast, which is unbelievable value. But if they were coming to us and saying 2 nights for €200, and we had 4 stars at the same price, it's very difficult for us to slip. So it comes down to what we see as, and we may not always be right, but I think this hotel, obviously it's not absolutely out of this world beautiful, but 2 nights bed and breakfast for a couple for €100, about £80.
In Mayo?
In Mayo, it's between Hotel Newport, you call it. It's between Westport and Achill Island, so it's a perfect place, and especially people that are just looking to get a couple of nights away at an affordable price. So that kind of stuff we do put out, but there is some hotels, and of course a lot of the regional hotels will be struggling more, but we only have a certain amount of spots on our email, and we want to, and as we get bigger and better, but that gives us more power to negotiate, so we can go back to these guys and say, look, that offer is okay, but to make it onto our email, we need a better discount. So, which gives us more power to provide a better service for our customers.
Which means I win as a customer because it's the better deeds in the bigger hotels, and
exactly,
it's perfect. You mentioned the word team, because you have went on a journey from, that bed sit in New York to now growing out a team, 250,000 customers. If we reflect on your scaling journey, and I'm connected with you on LinkedIn, and I love your posts when you break down the data in the background from your marketing, from your emails.
Yep.
You're hitting over 1 million people a month. Like what?
And on socials, we're over 30 million people every month. Which is mad, and it's something that I'm no guru, by the way, and I try and stress this. I'm fortunate I got the opportunity to speak in front of lots of audiences, and just because even now, just because I'm on a podcast doesn't mean what I'm saying is right. By the way, everything is subjective to you and your business, but what I like to do, and I suppose social media, and LinkedIn is a form of social media. It's about being social. It's about sharing things. It's about helping people. It's about entertaining. And yeah, I'm extremely honest about our journey. I'm extremely fortunate, first and foremost, about how far we've came. But that's only came through thousands of hours of hard work. I left the office last night. I left the office last night at 12 o'clock. I was up at 8 o'clock this morning. I've got 5, 6, 7 meetings today. So I'm busy, and I'm constantly looking at improving and evolving and making my business better. I think if I didn't have, and the thing is, why I do, and it's not pity me, the reason I do this is because I believe we can add so much more value to our customers, which excites me, because the better offers we get, the happier customers, and hopefully over the next 5, 6, 7 years, we'll create a legacy that tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of Irish people, people based on the island of Ireland, will have experienced travel through Rory's Travel Club, save money, and have had positive experiences that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And I would go as far as saying there could be 50, 60, 70,000 people a year booking with us, and a lot of them are obviously travelling with partners and families. So there's potentially hundreds of thousands of people benefiting on the island of Ireland through what we do. And whether it's we're inspiring people to do stuff and get out there and showcasing things that can be done at a more affordable price. But the thing that really drives me is, and I remember every time someone booked, whenever I first started this, I loved to hear about it. Even if a couple that booked to go to Jimmy's Hotel in Larne, and they save £30, and I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, I've saved you money, and I don't know you in this class, and they weren't obviously paying me at that stage. But that's what really keeps me going, is I know we can our service is only getting better. Obviously we're growing the team, and the more members of staff we have, the more time we have, and the better reputation, the better hotels and the better offers. So I think everything is going in the right direction, and I want to be all in. And I want to dedicate every hour of every day, if possible, to Rory's Travel Club, because I think what we're doing I think what we're doing is good, but I think the level we're going to get to is going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to be a household brand for years to come.
It's exciting. You can
Yeah.
hear the excitement in your voice. And one number you have very confidently stated
Yeah.
in podcasts, on stage, is 1 million customers.
Yeah, and the thing is, and again, we may never get there, but I believe, hand on heart, I will get 1 million customers, based on the island of Ireland being such a small market. Obviously, our next step is launching into London. We're going to look at Scotland, and if we have to go beyond there, I'm confident to launch into Canada, into New Zealand. I've worked in these markets before. These people, they're no different to us. They're just people at the end of the day, and they want to travel, they want to save money, they want to be inspired. So yeah, I'm extremely confident I will get there. But then I've no business acumen. I'm winging it to an extent. I didn't study business. I'm not some self-proclaimed business guru. I just work hard and want to provide more and more value. And with that I believe we're going to get more and more customers. And obviously, Ireland as a whole, as an island, is such a small market, which I think a lot of business owners here in Belfast are afraid to go. They're afraid to get the Newry and the poo their pants. They're like, geez, I can't go across the border. Whereas realistically, the people in Belfast and the people in Kerry, we're all the same. We all want to enjoy ourselves, and we all want to have good experiences. We all want to meet people, have a laugh, and but I do think that obviously this island, there's 7-8 million people across the water. You're looking at 10 times that. So if we can get 250,000 customers on the island of Ireland, can we get 750,000 in the UK? I think we can. Not I think, I know we can. But if we don't, can we top that up by going into further markets, whether it's Canada, America, New Zealand, Australia? Of course, I'm naming all the ones that speak English because I don't want to be dealing with with translators. I don't think we'll need to, but that's to get there 1 million customers between them 4 or 5 countries. I think we'll do it.
I full faith in you. You have a world-class product and you market it exceptionally well. I'm really interested to hear kind of your marketing playbook, because anyone that's getting over 30 million views per month, and I think like there's a lot of founders listening to this podcast and they believe their product's world class as well, or can solve a problem, or they're very passionate about it, and they struggle to take that to what they perceive to be a very noisy marketplace.
Yep.
But you've kind of cut through that noise and positioned yourself at the top, which is fantastic. And I'm really keen to maybe extract the blueprint that you have used to get there, or what you know works.
Yeah, and what I will say is, see, whenever I started, like I wanted to get 10 customers a day. I wanted to get 50. I wanted to get 100. The thing is, as people, it's natural to, and something I probably struggle with, and a lot of business owners do. You always want more. So, but what I will say is, we're fortunate. We're in a niche that, and we're in a space of something that people have real general interest in. They want to go to hotels. They want to travel. So it's easier to market that, and obviously with discounts. And really, really good prices. It is easier, and I put my hand up and say that, as opposed to maybe someone that's selling shoelaces, which is obviously, don't know anyone selling shoelaces, but something like that would be extremely hard to market and get people excited about. So obviously we're in a space, but what we do is, everything we do in terms of marketing is about adding value. So I look at things now and I see these big brands that have departments. The kind of people have meetings about having a meeting. And these people, they might have, and I worked with one of these brands last year. They had 10 people in their marketing department, and their average post on Facebook and Instagram had like 2 likes. And I'm thinking, you're paying hundreds of thousands to marketeers. And I'm thinking, and they were putting out some crappy graphic. And I'm thinking, no. But in terms of us, everything we do is about adding value. If I don't want to see, if it's something that we're putting out, I always put myself, and everything I do actually as a business owner, I put myself in the customer's shoes, and I think, how would I perceive that? And obviously not everything is, of course, it's subjective to me, but I just think of it and put the customer's hat on for a second and say, do I think that would interest, engage, inspire one of our customers? And if not, you may as well not post. I think a lot of businesses are going and just posting stuff, and it's just posting whatever comes into their head. Whereas you need a strategy. You need to be inspiring people. You need to be educating people, and you need to be adding value. Because the thing is, if you're just posting something for the sake of it, you're actually probably going to annoy the people reading it. I did mention this. I was speaking at a conference last week about email marketing, especially email, because people have to opt in for an email, and it's very easy to unsubscribe. So if you're sending an email, add value. If you're not going to add value, don't bother your whatever word, arsehole, whatever you want to say. Don't know if you're allowed to curse on here.
Well, you can say arse or hoe, but maybe not both of them together in one word.
Oh yeah, that's actually hilarious. Clip that one. But no, in terms of, and I think a lot of people they're spending time doing stuff that is probably a waste of time, to be honest. And I make no. Like I say it out loud, I let people know in terms of, and you can count, on an average day we post 20 to 25 things online. So we're reaching people, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, email, and we have 12,000 people on WhatsApp, in a WhatsApp group. And we have a members group on Facebook with 60,000 people. We have another one for our group members with like 12,000 people in there. So we're and then obviously your stories and everything else. So like people say, how you reach 30 million people? And see, the thing is, see if I posted once a day, I'd probably reach 500,000 people over the space of a month. Whereas consistently adding value, of course not everything goes viral, and that's fine. And I used to be under the impression I'd put out stuff and I'd go, oh my God, that didn't reach 20,000 people. I'm deleting it. That's awful. People don't care about that. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, and there's that analogy of, if anyone listening Google 1,000 people in a room. You know, I know you're saying about your aspirations of speaking, and you're hopefully going to do a show, potentially, what's this space to 900 people. Mm-hmm. If you think of 900 people in a room, that's a lot of people. Yeah. Whereas and you're reaching 900 people with your message, which is really powerful. Whereas people that put out a post on social media and reach 900 people, they're like, that is crap, like that's awful. And I'm like, you literally spent 10 minutes and you reached 900 people, which obviously it's still a lot of people, and and all you need is one of them to enjoy it and resonate for them to potentially, whether it's buy of you or become friends with you, or like, you just need to reach the right person once. For like, give you an example. Like, you could put a post out, Ciaran, not that you'd reach 900 people, it'd be a lot more, because obviously your posts, there's a lot of thought goes into it. But say you reach 900 people and you're looking a sponsor for the podcast in 2 years' time, all you need is one of them people to be the right person who could be your route into whatever you're looking. I don't know if you're looking at a sponsor or not, but that's just a simple example. So we post, like, if we post 10 times a day and reach 50,000 people in each post, that's 500,000 people. You add that up over the space of a month, you're looking at 15 million people. So people are putting out stuff, business owners, even people. And of course, we have a full team, so it's easier for us to do. I actually do a lot of the posting myself on social media, but people are posting once a week or twice a week, and they're thinking, we're going to get all these customers. Like, I think we don't reach enough people. We want to reach more people and get our message out that we'll get more customers. If you're putting out one post a week or one post a day, double it, and you potentially get double the customers. That would be, it's simple maths.
Marketing used to, and still does at times to me, seems like this black hole. You know, there's so much different strategies, and I think that one sentence, that one litmus test that you put a lot of content, but you put it through this litmus test, which is this post, email, or event providing value?
Yep.
And I think if anyone listening takes that one thing away, how do I market my product? Add value.
Exactly.
It seems so simple, but wow, like extremely effective.
But that's it. And like, I suppose, like, whether it's email or whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and it is that just, would this interest me? Do I think this would interest, I don't know, my mother or my sister? Is this something that is going to interest people? If it's not, rethink it. Don't bother doing it, because at the end of the day, especially as I say, an email, because people will unsubscribe. And adding value doesn't always have to be a discount. Obviously a lot of people are selling product. Whether like what we do, like we use the word inspire a lot, and we try not to because obviously it's free, inspiration's free, whatever. But inspiring people, we'll be putting out guides on Lake Blade, for example, and someone may never even heard of Lake Blade. They read this guide and they go, "That's where I want to go next." And well, you could be a clothes shop listening, and instead of you discounting all your clothes, you could just even talk about where the clothes come from or how you source them, or that conversation, or even tell a funny story to make people laugh. And obviously, as a brand, and we're obviously building a brand, we're still very much in our infancy, but the more positive touch points you have with someone, the more they're going to talk about you, like you, potentially buy from you. But for us, of course, we sell a subscription as such, which is €12, and obviously if people see us 10, 15 times offering discounts in hotels they want to go to, or maybe destinations, they probably will sign up at some stage. Whereas if I was just boring them to tears, they'd unfollow me and they would be like, absolutely not, I hate that brand. Why do I keep seeing this guy? So it is that add value, and social media is about being social. I did a post actually on LinkedIn 2 nights ago where I went live for 40 minutes at 10:30 at night, and I reached 6,000 people. So we're talking about 900 people out of how big that looks. So 6,000 people are sitting, half of them are probably laying in bed, dropping their phone on their head while they're half asleep.
And much to your point about 6,000, I mean, that's the SSE Arena.
Yep.
Almost a full capacity in front of you.
And that's 6,000 people that I'm talking to on a personal level, and that's what it's all about. Like even of our staff, like we're very fortunate. We have a very, very good team. I've never lost a member of staff. 2 of the girls are with us almost 4 years. So it's about being real, being honest, and all winning together. But brings it back to, I did a post, I reckon 19, and it's a complete, what is it? They say 65% of statistics are made up on the spot. like that one there. But no, if I was to guess, I'd say 99% of people have never been live on social media. And going live is just a way of connecting with someone face to face. They can ask you a question and you can give them, I think it was 60, or no, it was more, it was 140 questions I answered in 40 minutes. And that's 140 people that were heard and got an answer from the brand owner or business owner that I was delighted to help. And other people that were on that live got answers and hopefully inspiration too. So it's putting yourself out across multiple channels and being real. Social media is about being social. And it comes down to that, keeps coming back to that. A lot of brands are just putting out a random graphic about whatever it is. Obviously, of course, you have to get information across, but unless it's something that's amazing, people don't really care, and you're not going to reach that many people with it.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that you put yourself in rooms where you're not the smartest person, and you have to get inspiration from other business owners that are doing what you want to do. And I've taken a lot of inspiration from your marketing stuff, and particularly kind of those last few months where you're breaking everything down, all the analytics on social media. And I'm seeing, and I've started doing that myself, kind of reviewing the quality, the quantity, trying to add more value going across different platforms. And you see growth and it excites you. And then you realize what's working, what people want. I haven't went live, so there's another one, but I think technology with regards to marketing it's free to use.
Of course.
This is the thing with social media. I remember my first business getting leaflets made and going around, standing outside gyms and handing out loads of leaflets. And I put one in a sunbed shop because I knew a lot of people were in using it.
Yeah.
And I went in a week later and there was none left. And I remember thinking, oh, happy days. And the girl says, I think they were binned by accident. And it broke my heart.
Of course.
But you can put one social media post up, it's hitting 10 times more people, and you're not having to pay for the leaflets, and you're not having to waste your time walking about. It's people still don't utilize it well enough, I think.
Big time. And it comes down to, I suppose, like anything, and the reason I do that, and the reason I put the numbers on LinkedIn, it's not because, look at me, I'm doing all this. It legitimizes our business. In terms of, we're reaching 30 million people, but I have the marketing managers from every hotel in Ireland watching my LinkedIn. And even if only 10 of them see it, they'll go, Jesus, he's actually hitting serious numbers. We want to work with him. And And the thing is, it makes people maybe want to sign up because they're going, geez, he's sending 2 million emails a month. There must be something to them emails. They must be exciting. Why is 2 million people, or not 2 million people, but why is there 2 million of these being sent? And I think even in your case, in terms of if people see, for example, if you were to post and say we had 20,000 people listen to an episode of our podcast, straight away me reading that as a consumer, I'd go, that must be good. Why do 20,000 people want to listen to that? I need to listen to that. And the thing is, positivity will bring positivity.
Totally.
And the thing is, if you're doing something good, tell people.
Yeah.
I was walking around here today. This is a part of Belfast. I'm actually not, well, I went to the wrong place, first of all, but it was a part of Belfast I'm not too familiar with. And I walked by 2 or 3 businesses that I was actually really impressed with looking into the shops, and I'd never even heard of them. And I'm someone that lives in Belfast. I work in Belfast city centre, and I'm thinking, one of them was a suit shop, and the suits looked absolutely amazing. And I'm thinking, I go to events, I buy suits. Like, I didn't even know you were there. And sorry if you're listening, by the way. Well, there's probably a couple, so you can guess which one. And then there was a coffee shop that looked really, really good, and I'm thinking, of course you're not going to reach everyone, but in terms of do more and do better.
Yeah.
Like if I was the owner of these businesses, I would be doing everything. Like my office, I'm only 200 meters away from here. I didn't even know these guys existed, and there was 2 or 3 businesses, and I was looking into their shops saying, they're really, really impressive. I would definitely be a potential customer of theirs if I knew about it. And even now I probably will go back to them. But the thing is, a lot of people just think, you know what, I'm going to open a shop or I'm going to set up a business and people are going to flock to me, and it's definitely not the case.
It's going back to that book about creating win-win. The first principle it says is to be proactive. And this is where the work ethic comes in. And this is, like, you can see into your mindset of, okay, like, I will do whatever is necessary to put this out here because I believe in it so much. And I think that mindset, that energy, I would argue, I don't think you can make something a success without it.
Big time.
And even the successful brands that, you know, I'm quite big into well-being, and I look at like the big well-being brands, and there's maybe a misconception that, you know, they're living life in the flow state all the time, but they have worked exceptionally hard for probably 2 decades to get to that point.
Of course.
And maybe don't share that. It's like, okay, this has taken 20 years to get where I can, you know, chill out.
But why we share it is to humanize the whole thing. At the end of the day, I keep bringing it back to, I didn't go to Harvard. I didn't go to a big business school. I did sports science, failed most of the exams I ever took. I had more interest in running around the field after a football, to be completely honest, than studying. And I just want to bring it back to, I like sharing our journey and letting people know it is possible. And one thing that actually does bug me, anyone listening, like, there's so many people out there saying everyone should be an entrepreneur. Everyone shouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Agreed.
There's a lot of people in Northern Ireland on really good salaries, living really happy, amazing lives. And I always bring it back to I have some friends that are teachers, and a lot of people will, of course, want to be successful, but what is success? And I was up on stage last week talking about this at an event. Like, I have friends that are teachers that I would say are successful because at the end of the day, they finish at 3 o'clock on a Friday, they get their salary, that's what they want to do, they studied hard, they're living happy lives. Success is happiness. I know some business owners that actually listened to a podcast last night, and a business owner said once you hit 25 million, obviously we're nowhere near there, but once you hit 25 million, you actually lose all sense of reality and you actually get miserable. So people see people maybe that are in the people that are in the public eye, or people that are business owners, and they'll go, he's successful. But success is, to me, success is happiness. It's doing what you love and being happy. Whereas you wouldn't see a teacher or a mechanic who could be the happiest people in the world. You would never turn around and say, oh, they're successful there. Whereas it's always success in Northern Ireland, probably even further afield, is associated with money, which is a real shame, because I know as a business owner, and of course we're doing extremely well. I couldn't earn what I'm earning now, and I'd happily and openly say it, but I know there's people there that are working in Tesco's that are happier than I am, and or I'll ever be, and that's the God's honest truth. Whereas people look at me and go, oh, he's successful, he's got all these customers, he can do nice things, but there's no point having nice things if you're, not that I'm not miserable, But there is a lot of people, and it's that stigma, I think, that, and a lot of people listening, maybe go for that job promotion, but starting a business is extremely difficult. We didn't do a profit for the first 3 years. So we basically broke even for 3 years. Everything we had, we reinvested in. Obviously now we've come out the positive side of it, and we're starting to turn a profit now month on month, which has been built up after and even the year and a half I did before. So nearly 5 years of really, really hard work. And I think I've dedicated 5 years of my life to it. I'm lucky because I'm in travel, something people are interested in, but people could dedicate 5 years of their life to something that there isn't as big of appeal to, and they could lose everything overnight, which can happen. It could potentially happen to us, and I do think there's this thing online where people are saying everyone should start a business and everyone should, and as a business owner, they definitely shouldn't. Do what you love and be proud of what you do.
Yeah, totally agree. I don't think it's for anyone.
No.
I mean, you mentioned last night up to 12 o'clock in the office. That is not for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned breaking even for the first 3 years and every bit of profit being reinvested back in to the company and the organisation. In order to get to 1 million and beyond and go into different countries and different markets, is investment going to have to come in from other sources, or do you plan on keeping it lean and agile and growing it organically?
So I believe I can get 1 million customers still owning 100% of Rory's Travel Club. And the thing is, I'm in an extremely fortunate position. Unless we massively need funding, which we don't, and I've been really, really probably smart. To call myself smart, it's a bit of a strange thing to say, but I did a smart thing in terms of, unless I've got 12 months salary in the bank, I'll not hire someone else. So I know we're in a position, we're launching into London, we're going to hire 3 more people, whether it's 100 grand. I know I've saved that 100 grand, so I have that in the bank, that if anything happens, if we don't make a penny in a year, at least I can afford to pay the team. And that's something that's really important to me. And that's probably how I can sleep at night, whereas a lot of business owners can't. I know today, if we don't make another penny, which we will, if we don't make another penny for the next 12 months, I can afford to pay our team and more, which is the way I've done it. And I didn't read this anywhere, I didn't learn this anywhere. It was just how I came about. Even my first hire, I says, I'm not going to, while I have 10 grand in the bank, I'm not going to take someone on a 30 grand a year salary. So until I had 35, 40 grand, I was never taking that girl on, Amy, who still works for us today. So that's how I've done it, and I believe by building a good team and having a good product, we will be able to do it without taking outside funding, which is something that probably goes without saying. Of course, to have full control, it's going to make my life easier. And the thing is, I'm not, as silly as it sounds as a business owner, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for, this is my passion. This is what I love. My goal is to visit every country in the world. As I said, I bring it back to what I said about the people that are maybe on 30, 40 grand a year. That's a decent salary in Northern Ireland that you could live happily on. Like, we're, as a business owner, that we're doing well. I'm earning enough now that I don't really need any more money. I don't really have expensive things. I rent a house in the Armour Road. I drive a car that's like 5 or 6 years old. I don't really have flashy things or need money. But what I do need and what fulfills me is providing a really, really good service. And the goal, as I mentioned, is to visit every country in the world, which, if I can do that, I'll die a happy person, as opposed to making X amount of thousands or whatever it may be.
Love it, Rory. And I think that is just the perfect note to end this conversation on.
Yeah, fair play, Ciaran.
Thank you very, very much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.